For a long time, mystic fish, you wandered in the boundless ocean of your own dreams, sending signals into the silent cosmos. But the heavens heard. Prepare yourself, a torrent of divine grace is descending upon you, granting not just hope, but a genuine miracle and wealth you were afraid to even dream of. The era of passive waiting is over. The universe has prepared its greatest gift, and your task is to receive it with reverence. And this gift will not come as a quiet whisper or a distant sign. It will burst into your life like a cosmic discharge, like a dazzling flash from a divine spotlight, pulling you from the familiar twilight of doubt. Prepare for an event that will divide your life into before and after. This could be sudden news that seems too good to be true, an encounter with someone who holds the key to all your locked doors, or an epiphany so powerful and clear that it instantly illuminates your entire path forward, transforming a foggy trail into a shining highway. This is the cosmic push, the moment when the celestial screenwriter decides the prologue has gone on too long and introduces the main event into your story. You will recognize this moment by an unmistakable response deep within your soul. Your entire being, every cell of your body, will vibrate in unison with the word yes. This will not just be intuition, it will be absolute, irrefutable knowledge. And here is my prophecy, fish. Listen to it with your heart. The wealth descending upon you is not merely money. It is a resource. It is freedom. It is the materialized energy of your purest and most cherished dreams. The universe grants you not a fish, but a full-flowing river where golden fish will always abound. Did you ask for the ability to create without worrying about bills? You will get the studio you dreamed of and a contract that secures your future. Did you pray for a chance to heal the wounds of the past, yours and your family's? You will be given the means and opportunities for this, be it buying a house by the sea or paying for the world's best specialist. Did you dream of a project that would change the world? Here is its funding, coming from the most improbable source. Logic is powerless here. Probabilities are meaningless. This is an act of creation, performed by a higher power in response to your unwavering, albeit quiet faith. The miracle bestowed upon you is the synchronization of all universal laws in your favor. It is that winning lottery ticket you never bought, but which was always destined for you. And the phrase kneel is not a call to slavish submission. It is a call for a conscious, reverent pause. Stop. Be still. Breathe in this moment. Realize its magnitude. Give thanks. And accept it without a shadow of a doubt. For the slightest disbelief now is like a poison capable of tainting the purest spring. Your dreams have taken flesh and blood. Now your only task is to learn to live in this new reality, created especially for you. But to learn to live in this new reality, fish, you must first do the hardest thing. Die to the old reality. You must allow that part of you to drown, the part that grew accustomed to pain as if it were air, that found strange, agonizing comfort in the quiet backwater of its own melancholy. Remember how long you swam against the current, feeling like a lonely, misunderstood creature in an ocean of others' rules. Remember all those years when your heart, that hypersensitive locator, absorbed the sorrow of the whole world, when you drowned in the murky waters of others' dramas because you didn't know how to build dams. You gave your energy, your time, your dreams, asking nothing in return, and the world took these sacrifices for granted. You suffered in silence, convincing yourself that this was your cross, your karma, your nature, to be dissolved, to be background, to be a quiet harbor for other ships, while your own slowly rusted at the dock. The universe saw every moment of this silent self-sacrifice. And now, as it extends a crown to you, you stand on the threshold of the ultimate battle, the battle with yourself. For your main inner demon, fish, your eternal saboteur, is the fog of doubt and the sweet poison of escapism. It is your deep-seated, ingrained belief that happiness is an illusion, and reality is necessarily pain. You are a mystic. You are used to living on the border of worlds, and your most terrifying enemy now is your own mastery of escaping reality. As soon as the gift is in your hands, real, tangible, undeniable, your old reflex will scream, "Run! It's a trap! It's too good to be true! Hide back in your world of dreams! It's safe there! It's familiar!" You will start looking for a catch. A sudden million. You'll await a call from the bank about an error. The perfect partner. You'll search for flaws in them that justify your future departure. The opportunity of a lifetime. You'll drown it in procrastination, in fear of not measuring up, in quiet terror of responsibility. This is your personal hellfish, to beg for a miracle and, having received it, to reject it because the light is too bright for eyes accustomed to twilight. That is why the prophecy says, kneel. This is not just a metaphor for reverence, it is a command to your body and spirit, to ground yourself, to stop drifting in the clouds, to cease your eternal wander in the ocean of what-ifs. The moment the gift is revealed, you must physically feel the ground beneath your feet. Feel the weight of this miracle in your hands. Do not analyze it, do not dissect it with your skepticism. Simply accept it as a fact, as a new law of physics written personally for you. Your tendency towards self-destruction through passivity, that is the only enemy capable of nullifying the divine decree. The universe has already decided everything. Now the decision is yours, to accept the real, God-given treasure or to retreat into the fabricated, safe, but empty world of your old fantasies. The choice between a reality that has surpassed the dream and a dream that will always be merely a substitute for reality. It is at this point of choice, fish, that your true patron, your celestial guide, Neptune, the ocean planet, holding all the secrets of the universe in its depths, steps onto the stage. He speaks to you not with words, but with images, sending his wisdom through the rustle of waves and the shimmer of stars on the water's surface. And this is what he whispers to you now. Stop considering your nature a curse, your ability to dissolve into worlds, your empathy bordering on pain, your knack for waking dreams. These are not weaknesses. These are your main magical instruments, which you have so far used as a means of escape, rather than as a tool for creation. You are a mystic. This is your archetype, your essence. A mystic does not flee from reality, they transform it, imbuing with magic what others consider mundane. All these years you wandered in the labyrinths of your own illusions. You were not hiding. You were learning. You honed your imagination to the sharpness of a divine scalpel. You studied the architecture of invisible worlds so that one day you could erect your cathedral in the visible world. Your escapism was merely a long, arduous training in the school of dreams. And now, your final exam. Neptune teaches you the main distinction between the fog of illusion and the sacred steam of inspiration. Fog is when you use your dreams to hide the ugliness of the real world from yourself. You create a beautiful mirage in the desert to avoid feeling thirst, but this mirage will never give you water. Inspiration is when, looking at the same desert, you see in your imagination not just a mirage, but a detailed blueprint of a future oasis. You see where to lay the canal, where to plant palms, where a spring will chime. The miracle that is now entering your life is not a mirage. It is a full-flowing river that the universe has directed right into your desert. Your gift as a mystic now lies in taking this real, living water and creating from it the very oasis you have so long drawn in your dreams. The wealth given to you is clay in the potter's hands. Opportunities are canvas and paints. And you are the artist who no longer has to paint on air. Understand, fish, Neptune is not only the planet of illusions, but also the planet of higher faith and divine love. He has granted you the ability to feel unity with all creation, and that is why you so often drowned in others' pain. But now he asks you to direct this ability into a different channel. Feel your unity not with the suffering of the world, but with its creative power. Feel yourself not a victim of circumstances, but a co-author of the divine plan. Your task is not just to accept the gift, but to become its worthy conduit. If it is money, do not hide it under the mattress for fear of losing it, but transform it into a foundation for a home, a scholarship for talent, a cure for the sick. If it is love, do not suffocate it with your jealousy and expectation of a catch, but allow it to become a garden in which not only your soul, but also your partner's soul will blossom. If it is a project, do not drown it in perfectionism and procrastination, but breathe life into it. Make it your message to the world. Your mission, mystic, is to consecrate matter. to take the gold of this world and transform it into spiritual gold, passing it through the filters of your heart and your imagination. You are the alchemist who has finally been brought lead. It is time to begin the great work. And this great work, fish, will unfold not in a secret laboratory under the cover of night, but on 3 main stages of your life's theater. Your divine gift will be tested in 3 dimensions, and in each of them, you will have to triumph over your old self. The first battlefield is the material world, your finances and career. When the promised wealth descends upon you, be it an inheritance, a win, a sudden project boom, or a generous gift from a patron, your first instinct will be panic. You will see in this not an opportunity, but a burden. A chorus of past ghosts will sound in your head. It's a mistake. They'll take it all away soon. I don't deserve this. I don't know how to handle money. I'll lose everything. This fear is Neptune's most insidious poison, dissolving reality. Your task here is grounding. Don't just look at the numbers in the account. Go and withdraw some cash. Feel its weight in your hand. Buy one, but significant real thing that will become an anchor, physical proof of your new reality. Immediately hire a financial consultant, not because you are foolish, but because you need a guide, a logician who will build dams for your money flow while you learn to swim in it, not drown. Your first act of alchemy is to transform abstract fear into a concrete, manageable plan. The second battlefield is your creative self-realization. For years you built castles in the air in your imagination, justifying their fruitlessness by a lack of resources. If only I had the money, time, opportunities, I would write that novel, open a shelter, create my own clothing line. The universe says, here, I give you everything, act. And at that moment, the mystic's greatest terror will engulf you, the terror of embodiment. The fear that the material version of your dream will turn out to be a crude, imperfect parody of the shining ideal that lived in your head, and you will start to procrastinate. You will endlessly prepare, study, refine the concept, drowning your divine impulse in the swamp of perfectionism, which is merely a fancy mask for your escapism. The prophecy commands, start immediately and start small. Do not try to build the entire cathedral. Today your task is to carve a single stone. Write 1 paragraph, make 1 call, mix 1 paint. This first imperfect, real step is the sacred ritual that transforms the steam of inspiration into the living water of creation. Stop being a spectator of your dreams, become their laborer. And finally, the third most difficult battlefield, the arena of your heart, your personal relationships. Your gift will change your status, your energy, your aura, and this will be a litmus test for everyone around you. Those who used you as a shoulder to cry on and a free psychotherapist will feel the source drying up and will try to pull you back into your usual role through manipulation and appeals to conscience. Those who secretly envied your inner light will now have reason for open hostility. But new people will also appear, attracted by the radiance of your strength, not your weakness. Your main challenge here is to learn to set boundaries. Your empathy is no longer a hole in the hull through which your life force leaks. From now on, it is a precious elixir that you bestow consciously and only upon those who are worthy. You will have to learn to say no without guilt. You will have to accept the fact that some ships must leave your harbor because it has ceased to be a place for their mooring and has become a shipyard where your own flagship is being built. This is the final act of the great work, to transform the leaden weight of codependency and sacrifice into the golden freedom of conscious, mature love for yourself and for the world. And know, fish, that in this final act, the divine screenwriter will demonstrate his greatest mastery. He will introduce the most unexpected helper into your story. You expect an archangel with a fiery sword or a wise guru with a grey beard, but help will come not from the heavens, but from the dustiest, most earthly and forgotten corner of your reality. It will appear in the person of someone you previously overlooked or considered a minor character. A quiet notary sorting old cases, a meticulous archivist unearthing century-old documents, or even a distant relative whose existence you barely remembered. This person, unaware of it themselves, will become God's postman. They will not bring you a check or a deed. They will hand you something far more valuable, a key artifact, the physical embodiment of your new path. And this artifact, your personal grail, will be an object that at first seems like a strange trinket, a relic from the past. It could be an old, time-worn sextant that belonged to your great-grandfather, a sailor, or a yellowed folder labeled unfinished, containing blueprints or a manuscript that someone in your lineage never managed to bring to life, or even simply a box full of old letters and photographs you've never seen. Do not dismiss this, mystic. It is not just an inheritance, it is a map of sunken treasures. It is your personal navigation device given to you by Neptune so you do not get lost in the boundless ocean of new possibilities. The wealth descending upon you is inextricably linked to this object. It is its source and its purpose. Look closely at this map. It is written not in ink, but in destinies. It speaks to you not with words, but with symbols that only your mystic heart can decipher. That same great-grandfather with the sextant didn't just look at the stars, he dreamed of a house on the shore that you can now build. That same manuscript in the folder is not just text, it's the business plan of a brilliant project that you are destined to realize, having secured funding for it. Those same letters in the box hold the secret of a family wound, which it is your mission to heal and for which you will be given resources. The universe doesn't just give you money, it gives you a plot. It gives you a mission. It connects your personal triumph with the history of your lineage, transforming your enrichment from a selfish act into a sacred duty, into the completion of a task begun long before you. This artifact is your anchor in the new reality. It will not allow you to drown in fears and doubts because it imbues your new wealth not just with meaning, but with a higher purpose. Your task now is not just to accept the gift, but to become the faithful guardian and executor of the dream encrypted within this sacred object. You are not just a wealthy dreamer. You are an heir into whose hands the last most important chapter of a great family saga has been entrusted, and now it is your duty to inscribe golden lines into it. And so you stand, heir, with the map in your hands, already mentally erecting the shining palace of your future. You touch the ancient artifact, and entire eras unfold before your inner eye. You see your great-grandfather gazing at the stars. You hear the whisper of lines from the unfinished manuscript. You feel the pain and hope sealed in the yellowed letters. You become so immersed in this majestic saga, in this mystical connection with your lineage, that you begin your main ritual, the ritual of sacred procrastination. You polish your grail, but you do not drink from it. You study the map, but you take no steps. You revel in the grandeur of the design, turning it into another beautiful but barren dream, postponing real action until tomorrow, when the stars align and inspiration becomes perfect. You prepare to inscribe golden lines, but for now you only endlessly sharpen your quill. But the celestial screenwriter tolerates no delay, and in the midst of your poetic stupor, he ignites a ruthless spotlight in the sky. The hollow moon in Virgo, your opposite sign. This moonlight is not a soft Neptunian shimmer. It is a cold, surgical beam that leaves no room for ambiguity or fog. It is not interested in the beauty of your dream. Its sole task is to test its strength, its viability. And it pulls from the shadows a single, ugly, practical detail. One line of fine print in the divine contract that you, in your mystical fervor, ignored. This is the turning point, the point of no return in your plot. Suddenly it turns out that your ancestral land, on which you had already mentally envisioned a paradise garden, is burdened by a legal dispute requiring not meditation, but litigation. Or the brilliant manuscript, your future bestseller, contains a fundamental factual error that shatters the entire concept and requires not inspiration, but meticulous archival work. Or the secret from the old letters points to the need to find a living person, an encounter that will be not a poetic revelation, but a difficult, awkward conversation full of very earthly claims and resentments. Your first reflex is to drop everything, to hide the artifact back in its box, and escape to a safe world where dreams don't deal with lawyers and fact-checking. You want to scream, "I'm a mystic, not an accountant. I'm an artist, not a detective." But it is in this cry that the main lesson lies. This is the very plot twist that will force you to change course. The universe takes away your role as a dreamy heir and forcibly hands you the role of a foreman, editor, negotiator. It says, "I gave you a river. Now learn to build a dam." This practical, irritating, unspiritual barrier is not a punishment. It is the most important gift, disguised as a problem. It is the purgatory of reality that must burn away the last remnants of your escapism. You will have to descend from the world of ideas into the world of matter. You will have to pick up the phone and make an unpleasant call. You will have to sit at a table with documents and numbers. You will have to prove that your faith in the miracle is stronger than your fear of routine. This is a test, proving whether you are ready not just to possess the treasure, but to fight for it on the dullest and most mundane battlefield. It is in this dirty, detailed, earthly labor that true alchemy occurs. By passing through this purgatory of facts, you will be able to inscribe into your saga not just golden, but indestructible lines, forged from hardened steel. It is at this moment, when you take up this first, real, unyielding tool, be it a lawsuit, a stack of dusty folios, or a phone for a difficult conversation, that your inner mystic lets out a cry of horror and disgust. This is not the alchemy you read about in books. Where is the divine radiance? Where is the poetry of transformation? Instead of a golden crucible, you've been handed a rusty bucket of bureaucratic grime. And here it is, the main choice of your life, fish, laid bare by the ruthless light of Virgo. Before you are two doors. Behind one, the familiar, alluring twilight of your inner world. There, in the misty backwaters of Neptune, your dream will remain eternally young, eternally perfect, and eternally barren. You can return there, become again the guardian of an ideal, unborn design, convincing yourself that the real world is too crude for such delicate matter. This is the path of refusal, the path of preserving purity at the cost of life. Behind the second door, creaking, low, leading into a stuffy office with papers and facts, lies the path of embodiment. And your main fear, your primordial terror that paralyzes you, is the fear of defilement. You are afraid that by immersing your hands in this earthly, detailed, boring work, you will kill the artist within you. You believe that by starting to think in terms of deadlines, budgets, and legal formulations, you will betray your inner mystic, trading your gift of seeing the invisible for the ability to read fine print. A treacherous whisper sounds in your head. A miracle that requires accounting is not a miracle, but a transaction. A divine gift that needs to be litigated is a scam. A great mission that begins with archival dust is a humiliation. This fear is the last, most sophisticated illusion that Neptune has woven to test your faith. It is a lie that asserts that spirit and matter are enemies. But the universe expects not escapism from you, but integration. It demands that you perform the most complex alchemical act, uniting your Neptunian vision with Virgo's meticulousness. Your choice is not a choice between dream and reality. It is a choice between remaining an eternal child, lulling yourself with the beauty of your fantasies, and becoming an adult creator who is not afraid to get their hands dirty, bringing their dream into the world. God gave you not only a divine spark, but also clay. And now he watches to see if you will simply admire the spark or begin to knead this clay, no matter how dirty and unyielding it may be. Fighting for an inheritance, proofreading facts, having an awkward conversation, these are not annoying obstacles on the path to a miracle. These are the miracle itself in its working, unkempt phase. It is sacred labor, proving that you are ready not just to receive the gift, but to become its responsible steward. By going through this, you will not kill the mystic within you. You will give him hands. You will give him a voice that will be heard not only in the world of dreams, but also in boardrooms. You will prove that your faith is not a fragile flower afraid of the drafts of reality, but a mighty tree capable of growing through asphalt. And you take that step, not with the exhilaration of a hero bursting into a treasury, but with the silent resolve of a surgeon embarking on a complex but necessary life-saving operation, your own. You open that low, creaking door to the world of facts, and the moment your fingers touch a cold folder of documents or dial a difficult number, the unthinkable happens. The dirt doesn't stain your hands. It transforms into healing clay from which you begin to sculpt your new world. The archival mustiness doesn't suffocate you. It becomes the pungent aroma of old wisdom. The scratch of a pen on legal paper doesn't kill your music. It becomes its first, most important percussive rhythm, setting the tempo for the entire orchestra. You expected defilement, but found consecration. You feared humiliation, but received initiation into the higher order of creators. Those who not only see divine blueprints, but also know how to read the fine print. In this process, in this daily meticulous work with matter, your inner mystic does not die. He is reborn. You did not kill the artist within you. You banished the demon of passivity from him. You did not betray your Neptunian nature. You entered into a new sacred covenant with it. Your inner Neptune, lord of the boundless oceans of dreams, and that same ruthless ray of Virgo, demanding order and detail, enter into an alchemical marriage within your soul. And from this union, a new you is born. You are the mystic who has learned to build dams. You are the poet who has mastered the language of estimates and contracts, and from this, your poetry has only gained weight, acquiring flesh and blood. You are the ocean that has finally found its shores, and that is why your power has become not destructive, but creative, capable of nourishing life, not drowning it in chaos. Your empathy is no longer a breach, but a lock that you open at will. Your imagination is not a fog in which you hide, but a spotlight illuminating the path. Here it is, fish, your true miracle and genuine wealth, which you were afraid to even dream of. It is not the money that will ultimately land in your account, not the house you will build, not the book you will write. It is you, the new you, whole, grounded, unbreakable. One who stands with both feet on the earth he himself reclaimed, and yet never ceases to see the stars. One who can simultaneously hold the sacred artifact of his lineage in one hand and a calculator in the other, and feel no contradiction in it. The true gift that God bestows upon you is freedom. Freedom from your main tyrant, your own fear of reality. Freedom from eternal drift in inaction. Freedom to be both a mystic and a strategist, a dreamer and a foreman. This is the great work completed in your soul. You took the lead of your fear and your passivity and smelted from it the gold of will and embodiment. And when you next kneel, it will no longer be out of terror or reverence for an unknown force. It will be the bow of a master before his greatest masterpiece, before his life, which has finally become the greatest of arts. And when you lift your head, the world around does not explode with fireworks, nor does a choir of angels applaud. Silence falls. But this is not the former, shifting silence of your dreams, but the dense, profound silence of a workshop where a great work has just been completed. The air smells of ozone after a thunderstorm and fresh wood shavings. And you realize that the main prize, the greatest treasure, is not what you received, but who you became. You look at your hands, and they no longer seem alien and helpless. In them is the calm strength of one who has learned to wield a hammer as confidently as a magic wand. Your life from now on is your sacred artifact. You no longer fear defiling it with routine, because now you know weekly budget planning is a ritual of defining boundaries, and signing a contract is a magical act of sealing will. You no longer divide the world into the high spiritual and the low material. You see the divine in a well-organized spreadsheet and poetry in a bill paid on time. You have gained the sight of an alchemist for whom there is no longer lead and gold, but only a single primal matter awaiting the master's hand. Your family, your home, your project. These are no longer sources of anxiety, but facets of your main creation. You have become the guardian, not a passive spectator, but an active, responsible guardian of your own reality, reclaimed from chaos. And in this new, resonant silence of your ordered cosmos, your main hard-won mantra is born. Speak it now, fish, not as an incantation, but as a statement of fact. As your new name, I am the ocean that has found its shores. In this phrase lies the entire essence of your transformation. Your boundless, mystical, Neptunian power has not disappeared. But now, contained within the strong shores of discipline and common sense, it no longer spills out as a formless, all-consuming puddle, but gains direction, depth, and creative force. You have ceased to be a fog. You have become a river that can nourish gardens and turn turbines. And know, Master, when one great story ends, another is already writing its prologue. Your great work is complete. But the Creator's work never ceases. And do not be surprised when one day another wanderer lost in the fog appears at the threshold of your home, your fortress, your workshop. They will be drawn not by a loud call or bright advertisement, but by the steady, warm, confident light burning in your window. They will not come to ask you for a treasure map. They will simply want to silently warm themselves by your hearth, to understand how one can burn so steadily without burning oneself out. And this will be the beginning of your next greatest adventure, the adventure called Lighthouse.